Okay, y'all know what to do. Like or subscribe, hit a button, do something. Don't just sit there getting tired of asking you. All right, this podcast today. I've just been so pissed off about stuff going on lately. I'm going to try to talk about a very important topic, but let's add a little bit of levity into it, probably a little bit of sarcasm, and let's see what we get. It's going to be a couple months ago, and I'll probably mention it again, but a couple months ago, we did a podcast on forming a mag, what you should do, what you should look for. To be honest with you, I don't even remember everything in it, but I told the truth, so you don't have to remember it. Just go back and listen to it if you have any questions. The truth of the matter is, it's not as easy as just, putting up posters and first 5 people come in the door, they're it. Picking your mag is, like I know I said before, it's one of the most important things you're going to do. These have to be people you can literally trust your life with. So I'm going to yawn. It's getting too late for a cup of coffee, so I'm probably going to be a little pissed off at some point, but let's see where we go with this. We're going to call this The Apocalypse is Not Necessarily a Group Project. Now, with added extra disappointment. We're going to start with the heartwarming lie of we are all in this together. There is a deeply comforting belief that when society collapses, humanity will rise to the occasion. People will cooperate in our minds. Neighbors will unite in our minds. Someone will bake bread, someone will purify water, and someone will say something truly inspirational while simply holding a lantern and doing absolutely nothing else. This belief is touching. It's also the same level of optimism as thinking your phone battery will last all day at 3%. See what I did there? I tied in the podcast from the other day to this one right there. The phrase "we're all in this together" sounds great, right up until you realize we includes people who think duct tape fixes emotional problems and stockpiling means owning 2 granola bars and half a bottle of ketchup with mold on top. Preparedness is not about assuming everyone becomes competent. It's about accepting that Kevin exists. Kevin is not suddenly becoming a wilderness survival expert just because Wi-Fi went down and he watched a YouTube video. You got to watch out for the Kevins out there. This is going to be the true thorn in your side. No matter if you've lived with Kevin all your life, you know Kevin all your life, you went to school with Kevin all your life, you played football with Kevin, Kevin might not be the best choice for your mag. Let's go on. Let's meet the team that we threw together quickly and we really didn't think about. This is situation A. You just reached out to a bunch of old buddies, said, hey, let's do this. Let's take a realistic inventory of the team. Kevin, he owns 3 flashlights. All of them need batteries. He does not own batteries. Kevin 2 thinks essential oils can purify water, treat infections, and possibly restart the power grid. Kevin 3, he bought a survival knife once. He uses it exclusively to open Amazon packages and has never sharpened it once. Kevin 4 has a plan which turns out to be, we'll just go somewhere else. Then there's Kevin 5. The only thing he has to offer is he has a theory how bubbles get into soda. And of course he's wrong. This is not a mag. This is a collection of future problems. Preparedness culture often assumes hidden competence, like everyone has a secret skill waiting to emerge. In reality, most people's hidden skill is confidently explaining things they do not understand. No bullshit. This is people just talking about shit they don't know anything about what they're talking about, trying to sound like experts. Stress, the great intelligence eraser. Under stress, people do not rise to the occasion. They fall back on their level of training. For most people, that level is, hey, I watched a documentary once while scrolling through my phone. In a crisis, you will witness behaviors such as staring at a problem until it becomes someone else's responsibility, making rapid decisions based entirely on vibes, I did air quotes there, and arguing confidently about things they are objectively wrong about. The best part is at some point someone will absolutely say with 100% confidence, I saw on TV that you can drink pool water. They will say it with confidence. They will say it repeatedly. They may already be halfway through the pool water. Now you got another problem on your hands. Resource sharing. or how to become a charity you never opened or wanted to be. You prepared, you planned, you stockpiled supplies. Congratulations, you are now the neighborhood's least official and most unwilling distribution center. It starts small. Hey, just a little water. Then, do you have extra food? Then, you wouldn't let us starve, right? Now you're not just managing supplies, you're managing expectations, emotions, and rapidly growing line of people who suddenly remember you exist. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every time you say yes, your timeline gets shorter. That one extra can you gave away, that was for Tuesday's food. You just donated Tuesday. Way to go, rocket scientist. Hope you weren't planning on eating on Tuesday. We'll figure it out. The battle cry of the unprepared. Oh, my God. So many times. Nothing inspires confidence like someone saying we'll figure it out while holding absolutely nothing useful in front of themselves or presenting any type of a useful idea. We'll figure it out is not a plan. It's simply a placeholder for panic. Problems in a crisis do not politely wait for you to brainstorm. They escalate. Every second they escalate. Hunger gets worse, thirst gets urgent, mistakes get expensive. They can be costing you supplies, safety, even your life. Be sure. Saying let's figure it out while dehydration is setting in historically has never worked for anyone, ever. Ever. The difference between watching and doing. There's a magical belief that watching something once equals knowing how to do it forever. Examples. I watched a video on starting a fire. Great, asshole. It's raining. Go ahead. We'll wait. I know first aid. No, you have a box of Band-Aids. That is not the same thing. I can grow food. Let's be honest, Kevin. You killed a cactus. Do you know how hard it is to kill a cactus? You do not know how to grow food. Competence is not theatrical. It is practiced, repeated, and usually learned the hard way, not during a crisis when the stakes are high. And Kevin is offering advice. Trust. Built slowly, lost instantly, questions constantly. In normal life, trust builds over time. A crisis, it's expected immediately. This is problematic. Suddenly you're asking, why is Kevin taking more food than everyone else? Why is Kevin 2 reorganizing supplies based on the energy flow and the chi? Why is Kevin 3 sharpening his knife, again, for the 5th time today? Trust issues escalate quickly when resources are limited and people start acting, let's say, creatively. No, they don't. Leadership, congratulations, the loudest person is in charge. Leadership is in a crisis often defaults to whoever sounds the most confident and the loudest. Unfortunately, confidence is not competence. You may find yourself being led by someone whose primary qualification is, I speak loudly and use great hand gestures. This person will probably make bold decisions with limited information, reject feedback because it kills momentum, and double down when they know they're wrong. You know they're wrong. Hell, even Timmy chewing on rocks knows they're wrong. Why is this the way it works? It almost always works out like this. The loudest person is just assumed to be in charge. The crowd versus the prepared individual. Prepared individual reduces chaos. A crowd will multiply it. In a crowd, information spreads incorrectly. Resources disappear mysteriously, and decisions take longer and get worse repeatedly. Someone will suggest splitting up, someone else will suggest staying put, and a third person will suggest something that makes no sense at all but is delivered with enthusiasm. Now you have 3 plans and 0 progress. Strategic cooperation. Okay, this can be good, but you've got to choose and make decisions carefully. Cooperation is possible, but it requires effort before things go wrong. This means knowing who is reliable, establishing roles ahead of time, and setting expectations clearly for everyone. It does not mean hoping suddenly everyone becomes reasonable. Assuming values are shared and responsibilities are shared. And trusting people just because of proximity alone. They're the closest to you, so you trust them. No, that doesn't work. Just because someone lives near you does not mean they are an asset. Sometimes it means the opposite. The power of saying no. This is a skill you need to develop immediately if you haven't already done so. Saying no is uncomfortable. So is running out of food and water. You will need to make decisions that feel harsh but are necessary. No is not cruelty. No is not resource management. If you have to say no to someone, it's probably because they did not prepare. It's that simple. Or they thought they were an expert because they watched a video on YouTube. Their problem does not necessitate an emergency on your part. Their problem is their problem. If you say yes to everyone, eventually you're saying no to yourself, and that tends to end poorly. All right, now, I know this is really shocking to some people, but I'm going to say again, you need to develop a sense of humor in all of this bullshit, especially when things are going sideways. I've laughed the hardest in the Marine Corps. I'll give you a better one. I've laughed the hardest in firefighting situations when everybody's running out of the building, we're running into the building, can't see a damn thing. You realize your air tank is either leaking or you didn't check it like an idiot and you just grabbed the first pack off the truck you saw. Something like that's going down, and we're laughing at each other like it's the funniest thing we've ever seen or heard, because it's a coping mechanism. And I will admit, some of the funniest times I've ever had in my life was in the Marine Corps, and I'm talking in real shit situations in the field. I mean miserable shit situations in the field. It's a coping mechanism. You have to acknowledge the absurdity. I mean, think about it. You're explaining basic survival concepts to adults who are self-proclaimed experts and don't have any idea what you're talking about. You might be watching someone try to open a can with a screwdriver, and yes, get the first aid kit ready. Listening to a debate whether candles are a renewable resource. I mean, people are so stupid. If you don't laugh, your only other option is either to stare into the distance, reconsidering your life choices, or start throwing big, heavy rocks at them. Humor keeps you sane. Use it. It also keeps the idiots alive. Simply because you're not going to go smack the shit out of them. You're laughing at them and not smacking the living daylights out of them. Your expectations, lower them slightly, but no more than that. More than that. You're going to have to really lower your expectations if you rapidly threw a mag together with no planning or vetting people or anything like that. Just set yourself up for disappointment now. It's like waking up on Christmas morning alone. You've been alone for the last 2 years. You don't even talk to anyone else and still expecting Christmas presents to be there. It's just not going to work. Lower your expectations. If you expect competence, you're going to be disappointed. If you expect confusion, you're going to be surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Set expectations accordingly. Some people will help, some people will hinder, some people will do both within 5 minutes. Plan for inconsistency. Self-reliance, your only truly reliable teammate. At the end of the day, the most dependable person in your plan is you. Self-reliance means having what you need, knowing how to use it, and not relying on Kevin for anything, ever. It doesn't mean isolation. It means you're not immediately in trouble when things go wrong. Stay prepared, but don't be paranoid. There's a difference between realism and assuming everyone is a disaster waiting to happen. Preparedness should make you capable, not suspicious of everything that moves. That said, if Kevin starts suggesting ideas, it's okay to be a little cautious or beat him till he stops talking. Hope is not a strategy, and Kevin is still not helping. The idea of everyone working together in perfect harmony is comforting. Reality is less organized. Reality is bullshit. No one's going to work. I don't care how well you're trained. There's not going to be perfect harmony. I can give you an example. Best prepared we ever were. I don't think I'm going to say where, but we were inserted into an area in the Marine Corps, and we had surprisingly good close air support. We had resources available. We had plenty of water. We had plenty of food. Everything was going well. We were conducting patrols, and we got back to the rear. We're all tired. I was corporal of the guard that day, set up my patrols in the immediate area, and one of my guys came up to me and started crying because the MREs were cold, and he doesn't like to eat cold food. You just want to smack the shit out of somebody every now and then. I mean, just smack them till they stop breathing. But that's what I'm saying. Something's going to happen. There is no perfect harmony, no matter how prepared you are. So prepare accordingly. Plan like you're on your own. Make it work with others. Cooperate when it makes sense. Only when it makes sense. Keep expectations realistic. Protect your resources. Always protect your resources. You got to remember, the apocalypse is not a group project if it's not a cohesive group willing to share valuable knowledge and skill sets. There is no participation trophy in a mag. There's no extra cookie after dinner for doing your job. And the worst part, at the end of it all, Kevin 5 is still asking if anyone brought snacks. Y'all watch your six and peace out.